So, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series Leader Class Grimlock. And yes, this is Studio Series 86 Grimlock, one of the more sought-after figures in recent years, mainly because, well, not that he was rare, because he really wasn't. I've seen him a whole bunch of times at my local Walmarts, and they suck at stocking things. It's just he came out mid-pandemic, so that's not really helping. One thing for me in particular, I was just coming out of high school, and it's pandemic, so I didn't really look for any work at that point, because I was like, what am I going to do? Just stay home all day anyway. And it's like, I took the year off, and then I never had money to get him, let alone most deluxes. I got a couple deluxes in that time frame, but that led to me back collecting a lot, and that's just a ramble. But basically, I got this guy a couple months ago from eBay, and he was $100, which is strange, because he usually goes from $150 to $250. That's what I usually see in the range, and boxed is like $250. If you wanted him loose, it was like $150. This guy was loose, but he has no issues anywhere on the figure. And speaking of him, what a beautiful figure he is. He is amazing. And as far as it goes for him, he does have like 50 different versions. If you are looking for him, there's the Toxitron one, there's the upcoming Marvel repaint, the Marvel comic version repaint, and then there's the G2 version. I think that is the one I just said with the Toxitron. I don't know. But as far as it goes, he's also getting a re-release in 2025. So we got that. The figure himself is massive. I had to break out the big camera setup for him, and he has everything you'd expect. From the back, very not kibble-less, but I don't consider this kibble because that's supposed to be there. It's part of the character's design. Every incarnation of Grimlock that's based off of G1 has these wings and the head. That I don't consider kibble. If it's part of the character's design, I don't consider it kibble. I know it technically is, but it's just part of it. One thing that's also really nice to mention, he has like no gaps in his legs, except for this little piece here, and we'll get to that during transformation. It's a really good transformation. And I mean, everything looks great. The arms, one thing I'll say, they're very plain. They don't really have any detailing. That's the one thing I'll say, is I wish there might have been like some silver in there somewhere, something like that. I am pretty sure it's accurate for it to be just flat gray, but it does look kind of bland overall, because the only thing that really breaks up the arm coloration is the gold claws. He does have his red underwear on, and of course he has his legs down here, which are kind of picked out in this black gunmetal plastic, kind of like a charcoal. The head is very charcoal comparatively to the rest of them. And I mean, as far as it goes down here, we also have the different colors, the blue, red, green. His feet look good. They're very hollow, though, but he can stand quite nicely. As far as it goes, one of the biggest complaints with this guy is the accessories, mainly due to the fact that he comes with a gun, which is accurate. This is his gun. And the other thing he doesn't come with is his sword, which weirdly enough comes with the swoop. So if you bought swoop, you're going to get the sword. I don't have any of the Dinobots. I don't have any room for the other Dinobots, I should say. Not to mention, they're expensive. Very, very expensive, which does not help. The thing Grimlock did come with, though, that he probably shouldn't have, is a little wheelie. The first two came with these little tiny figures. Slug came with Daniel, and then he came with Wheelie. But then we got Core Class Wheelie, and Core Class Wheelie is, like, stupidly good. Like, so stupidly good, it's unbelievable. So you basically just take Wheelie, and there's, like, a peg on his leg, and you can put him up there on the shoulder. I can't really get him in frame unless I crouch him. And you just get him up there, and he can sit there. He can also go in the Dino mode. He comes with a little slingshot accessory. It's the exact same as the Core Class one, if I'm not mistaken. So they just kind of reuse that part, which good for them. And if you do own Core Class 1 and this one, you have a backup of this tiny little piece that is so losable, it's unbelievable. This thing has some articulation. It has like a ball joint in the head, and the arms are ball jointed at the shoulders, but because of how they're sculpted, one's like straight and then one's bent, like it's pulling back the string on the slingshot. And then his legs are bent too. There was a bunch of upgrade kits. They gave it a waist swivel too for some reason. Like, I don't know why they did all this effort with this guy. It made no sense. It's just, it's a fine little thing, but we'll bring it back for the alt form. And I mean, as far as it goes with them, that's really that for that. So let's get to the articulation, which is quite good. Ball joint in the head. Forward and back the arms. Very ratchety. Outward. Elbow bend. Wrist swivel. He then has a waist joint. Forward and back. Outward. A swivel. A knee joint, which is also ratcheted. And a very good tilt. So every bit of articulation you'd expect from a modern Transformer at this point in time. There's no surprises in here. That's basically it for the robot mode. So let's get into what I think many would consider Grimlock's true form, his Dino form. So to transform him, first thing I'm going to do is take the hands, which have the only real gap of the figure, which is the, if it would focus, there it is. The big gaps in the hand there. They're a little annoying to have there, if I'm being honest. And I'm going to take his legs here, or his dino legs, and fold them back like so. They kind of look like that. The next thing I'm going to do is take the feet and then take the heels here and fold them up to the front like that. Open up the back sections like so. I should probably pull this back a little bit because it is a little bit more space needed. You're going to fold out the tail bits, which are the light gray sections, like so. And then you can take said tail bits and they just fold up like so. So they just kind of fold over. And then you can peg those together. Once you peg those together, you just go boom. And there you have the back end. Real simple. Take Grimlock's chest piece in robot mode and fold it down. And that forms the kind of crotch area, the belly area of the T-Rex mode. The next thing you can do is take the head, fold it down. Take the wings, fold them together at the chest to form said chest. Fold down the head. And there is Grimlock in his dino mode. That is so simple. When I first got this guy and transformed him, my first reaction was, this is insane. It was so simple. I thought it would be so much harder than that. It is such a simple transformation, and it's so fun to do. It's so easy and simple. You can do it mindlessly. There's not much that you have to worry about falling off. The heels occasionally pop off, but that's really it. There's a really loud blue jay. I don't know if that's coming out on the camera. I think it might be. Anyway. The robot mode here just looks fantastic. Or the dino mode, I guess I should say. But this is what I think a lot of people consider his main mode. I mean, Grimlock's a Dinobot after all. And I have no issues with this guy in this mode. It looks perfect to me. I don't see anything. He even has weapon storage. So basically, there's like these two little slots right here. If it would focus. I don't know if it'll focus. There it is. And then there's two tabs on the gun. And so basically, you just take the gun, put it there. And ta-da. Storage. It's not the best storage, but it's storage nonetheless. Face sculpt looks great on this mode. The mouth, of course, opens, and it does have an effect part in there. Lucky for me, I actually have an effect part over here to the side. So I can actually put that there. That's not like the best fire effect or anything like that. I'm gonna use a different one for pictures, but just to note that you can get fire in there, so you can have that whole thing. He does have some ball joints at the arms and some elbows. And his arm articulation remains, so he has all of that in the larger leg. So you don't have to worry about him having bad articulation. So he is basically just what you'd want. And as I mentioned, Wheelie comes back for this form, and he has little peg holes on the sides of his legs here. And they just kind of go onto those little side pegs that are kind of visible right here. There's one on each side. So you can just kind of put him off to the side like so, firing his slingshot. Which I think was the whole intention of the gimmick, was this part, which, again, don't really care for it. It's just kind of a thing that exists. And as far as it goes, that's really it for the alt form. So let's just get to my final thoughts on Grimlock. So for my final thoughts on Grimlock, there's not really any issues with this guy. The biggest issue he has is he doesn't come with his sword. That is the biggest thing I think this guy has against him. Other than that, he's perfect. He looks like Grimlock. He is Grimlock. And I would say that, yeah, you know, he's a bit rare now, but no, he's not going to be. They've already had the leaks come out that he is going to get a re-release early next year in Studio Series. So you're not going to have to worry about it. You're going to be getting Grimlock. And I love that Transformers is going back and re-releasing the figures. Because we are at the point now, and I think that most people would agree, I don't know where they can go from here. Like, they've pretty much made the best version of any of the G1 characters they've ever made. So it's kind of hard to go and be like, yeah, we got to do this again right away. Like, they could keep these guys for like 20 years and then do them again later. Like, I'm not joking. Like, these guys here are perfect. And I just hope they keep doing the whole re-release thing, especially for the rare figures. Like, apparently we're getting Cosmos re-released and things like that. But at least we're getting Grimlock again. That's something I must say, is that we are getting the Grimlock re-release. And I mean, if you are looking for this guy, I would wait for then. I wouldn't recommend buying him right now, because he is getting the re-release. But I would wholeheartedly say, when he does apparently get that re-release, do it. 100%. And if you can't get that figure, try to get one of the other ones. The Marvel one would be the one I would say, because it's probably the closest to this color scheme, despite all the black parts being blue, but that's besides the point. But that's really it. I'm going to give him a 5 out of 5. Or a 10 out of 10. Whatever you want to say it is. It's basically the same system. I just use points, and it's like, I just don't want to say 7 out of 10 all the time. I hate saying 7 out of 10. But as far as it goes, that's all for this review. So this has been my review of the Studio Series 86 Grimlock. It's been Delete signing out.